With my side seams pinned, I'm ready to sew, and that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna sew our side seams at 5/8 inch seam allowance. You should have pinned them, you should have matched up your notches. When you sew, you're gonna backstitch at the top and at the bottom, and you'll just sew down the whole side seam. So I'll just zoom in real quick so you can see I'm lined up with the 5/8 inch seam allowance line right here, and that's what I'm watching as I sew. I will backstitch, I'll go forward 3, backwards 3, forwards 3, sew down to the end, backstitch, and as I go, I'll take out any pins that that I'm approaching. So we'll go ahead and sew now. I also want to make sure that my raw edges are lined up, because if they come like if they're not lined up or I haven't pinned well enough, then my pants might turn out a little weird looking. So I'll make sure my raw edges are lined up together. I'll just take out my pins as I go. Sometimes like this pin is kind of stuck underneath and I need to get it out. So sometimes what I'll do, and I'm just going to turn my thing right here, is if I press this button, then anytime I let off my presser foot, my needle is going to stay down. It's going to end in the down position. So now I can lift up my presser foot and pull this pin out of my way without adjusting my fabric, and my fabric will still stay where I want it to be. So that's a handy thing if you feel like you're constantly having to stop to pull pins out and you're moving your fabric, then you can use that down position button. And if I just feel like there's a spot where I don't have enough pins, then I'll go ahead and pin it before I get there. And here I'm about to get a tuck, so I'm just going to pull this pin out and I'm going to pull tight from my, I'll just try and zoom out a little bit. I'm taking my next pin, I'm pulling tight from where my needle is in the fabric, and I'm just going to put a pin in the middle, and that will help spread out any, if there's like more on the top or more on the bottom, that'll even that out and split the difference so that when I get to this next pin, I'm not going to have all of that built up here. It'll be like half here and then half here to get rid of any tucks. Take that pin out. And now as I get to the bottom, my bottom two pieces should be lined up pretty good. And I'll just go ahead and back stitch here at the bottom, back 3, forward 3, and I let up my needle there. So if I touch my presser foot, it'll come up if I use my needle down position button. So I'll trim those threads and then head over to the press board to iron those, or press them at 5/8. Press them open, not at 5/8. We just sewed them.